Ever feel like you're juggling a million things at once? You know, work, relationships, health, and still trying to squeeze in some time for yourself?
Yeah, I hear you. It's like everyone's looking for that magic formula for a balanced life.
Well, we've been on a mission, diving deep into a mountain of research books, articles, the whole shebang, all about finding that balance.
We wanted to go beyond the, vague self-help stuff and get to the real nitty-gritty practical advice that actually works.
Exactly. We're talking about creating a blueprint for a more balanced life,
Yeah,
covering everything from how you fuel your body.
to how you nurture your mind, how you manage your time, and those all-important relationships.
Because let's face it, finding balance in today's world is, well, it's no walk in the park.
No, it's not. It's
Right.
a 247 world out there, always connected, always on the go.
So how do we even begin to find balance amidst all the chaos? I'm so curious to hear what you uncovered in all that research.
One of the biggest takeaways is that balance isn't about achieving perfect equality in every area of your life.
Yeah.
It's more about,
Oh, thank goodness. Because who has time for perfect anyway?
right, it's about finding that sweet spot, the harmony that works for you as an individual.
Okay, that makes sense. But I have to ask, how do we deal with the constant demands of technology? I mean, it feels like we're expected to be available 24/7.
It's true, technology can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
One study we looked at found that people who check work email after 9 p.m. are way more likely to experience burnout.
Oh, yeah. I can definitely see that happening.
So setting boundaries around technology is crucial. Things like creating a digital curfew, no work emails or social media after a certain time.
I love that. A digital curfew. It's like giving your brain permission to finally switch off.
Exactly. And speaking of switching off, I was really fascinated by the research on how what we eat impacts not just our physical health, but our mental well-being too.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
There was so much good stuff in there about food.
Mm.
Like, it's not just about looking good. It's about feeling good, too.
Exactly. The sources highlighted some powerful connections between nutrition and things like focus, mood, and even stress management.
I've always felt better after eating a healthy meal, but to see the actual science behind it.
It's pretty amazing, right? For example, omega-3 fatty acids found in salmon, walnuts, chia seeds, those can actually boost your brain power.
And antioxidants, those colorful fruits and veggies, they help protect your brain from all that stress we're talking about.
So it's not just about salads for lunch. It's about fueling your mind and body with the nutrients they need to thrive.
Speaking of thriving, how do we balance pursuing our goals with nurturing our relationships? It often feels like it's one or the other, like you have to choose.
That's a great question, and one that I think a lot of people struggle with. But the research actually suggests that strong relationships are essential for achieving your goals.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Think about it. Your support system, your loved ones, they provide encouragement, accountability, and they celebrate your wins with you.
I guess that makes sense. It's like having a cheer squad in your corner.
Exactly. And on the flip side, isolating yourself to focus solely on your goals can actually backfire, leading to loneliness and burnout.
So it's not about choosing between goals and relationships. It's about recognizing that they actually complement each other.
Absolutely. Now, there's one area that I know a lot of people, including myself, struggle with, and that's rest.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm a total workaholic. I feel guilty even thinking about taking a break.
I get it. We live in a culture that glorifies busyness, but the research is clear. Rest is not a luxury. It's a necessity for both our physical and mental health.
Okay, I know you're right. But what if I'm just not good at resting?
Well, that's where the concept of active rest comes in. It's not just about sleeping or vegging out on the couch.
So what is it then?
It's about engaging in activities that recharge you. Whether it's spending time in nature, reading a book, listening to music, or working on a hobby, anything that helps you unwind and de-stress.
I actually really like that idea.
Yeah.
Active rest.
Yeah.
So it's like being intentional about how you relax and recharge.
Exactly. And just as you schedule important meetings and appointments, you should schedule time for active rest.
That's a great point. It's about making it a priority, not just something you squeeze in if you have time left over.
Right. And speaking of scheduling, the sources we dove into offered a really helpful step-by-step guide for creating a daily routine that promotes balance.
Oh, I saw that. And I thought it was so cool how it wasn't just focused on productivity, but on incorporating all those elements
Yeah.
we've been talking about.
Yes, it's a holistic approach that includes time for work, for relationships, for self-care, and for personal growth.
Like a recipe for a well-rounded day.
Exactly. And the beauty of it is that it's completely customizable. You can tailor it to your own unique needs and preferences.
So you're not just following someone else's rigid schedule. You're creating a routine that truly works for you.
Exactly. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about finding what helps you feel your best and then making adjustments along the way.
So it's like having a blueprint to get started, but then you can tweak it as you go.
Precisely. And as you experiment with these different strategies, pay attention to how you feel. Notice what brings you a sense of balance and what throws you off.
It's like becoming your own scientist, conducting experiments on your own life.
I love that analogy. It's about being curious and paying attention to what works for you.
Because ultimately the goal is to create a life that feels both fulfilling and sustainable.
Absolutely. A life that nourishes your mind, body, and spirit.
Well, this has been such a fascinating deep dive. So many practical takeaways and inspiring ideas.
I agree. And I hope our listeners feel empowered to start creating more balance in their own lives.
Absolutely. After all this talk about balance, I'm actually feeling inspired to go for a walk in nature and just disconnect for a bit.
That sounds like a great idea. Enjoy your active rest.
I will. And for all of you listening out there, keep exploring these ideas, experiment with what works for you, and remember that creating a balanced life is a journey, not a destination.
And we're here to support you every step of the way.
Now, as you go about creating your own balanced life, think about this. How do our personal definitions of balance evolve over time? Does what worked for us 5 years ago or even 1 year ago still serve us today? Food for thought as you continue your deep dive into a more balanced you.
That's a great question and one worth pondering.
Until next time, keep diving deep.